My name is George Thompson, and lived all my life in Port Seton.
Can you tell me do you come from a fishing family? Can you tell me
Yep.
about your family in the
Yep.
background?
I think, well, my grandfather's on my father's side, he definitely was a fisherman, and then my father and his three brothers, they were all fishermen. And my mother's brother, he was a boat builder over in Fife in St Monans. So boats has always been an attraction to me. I even took my wife a tour of harbour for her honeymoon. I made quite a few actually. There again, my brother was the instigator. He used to make them, and we were married quite young, and we had our family quite young as well. And instead of just sitting about in the house, I was able to create something. And so I started making models, and people seemed to like them. I made 2 or 3 for the local gala committee, and they used to raffle them, and they used to raise quite a sum of money for them. That was for an uncle who had seen some of them I'd made. I made one for him. This one was just put in time. This one, and this is the last one that I made, which was probably 45 years ago. Since that was made. It was quite good when, as I say, when the kids were young and that, and you put in your winter nights. There weren't a lot of stations on television or anything like that, so that was the attraction, really. The sea's something that's always alive, isn't it? And I wanted to create something that was a wee bit alive rather than just something sitting there that, I suppose I'd always a kind of flair for imagination and things like that. I used to do a lot of drawing, and when you think back to the things that you done when you were young, I loved drawing and things like that. In fact, the famous John Bellini told me that was a wasted artist a couple of times. Why did you not study it? The thing is, I pursued it a bit, and every one you made, you got slightly better, and you came away with better ideas, and you found easier way to create things and that. But there were a tremendous talent in the village for doing things like that, and creating boats like that, and paintings and things like that. There were tremendous talent in the village when I was young, and even younger than that. But it's something that's in your blood. It's something that it's quite sad if it's lost, actually. I would think. It's nice to see younger people that are creating old-fashioned things and things like that.
Your models are really detailed. There's every little aspect of the boat on the deck. Where did you get all the fittings and the people and the netting and
Well, the people.
Can you describe how you've made each?
Well, the people are cheated with the people. But every other thing on it's made for wood, bits of string, bits of wire. Every other thing is the men on there was actually lifeboat men, and I done a wee bit carving out on them and things like that to make them, you know. I took the buoyancy off their backs and things like that to create, for that one anyway. Aye, but apart from that, everything is made. The sea's putty, just put, you know, with your fingers and aye.
And the rope and the netting, what is that made from?
Probably a lady's hairnet or something at one time. So you were always striving to have the nice lines and things like that. Yeah. I thought I wasn't bad for having a kind of photographic mind. I made a few actual boats that were local and things like that, and I could go down the harbour and stand and look at that, and I could go home and produce it within reason. I think, I mean, every family had a boat builder or a boat maker in their family, and even I've learned things that reading that I honestly never knew, where the boats had came from and the history of the boats and things like that. It's been tremendous. Long may these kind of things continue.
Can you tell me your name and where you're from?
My name is Charles Horn, and I live in Port Seton now, but I was born in Preston Pines. But my original people lived in Port Seton, and they moved to Preston Pines. But when I was 14, I was put to sea. And well, the whole family on my father's side were all fishermen in Port Seton. They lived facing the harbour, and at Fourth View, that house, they lived in there actually. That was Monkhall. But they lived all over Cockenzie actually, when I was a wee lad again.
So you were saying that you went to sea when you were
14, aye.
You were 14?
I didn't get a choice. I was put there.
And can you tell me a bit about those early years when you started on the boat?
Well,
and what the name of the boat was as well?
The boat was Thorn Trees. It was a fine 50 feet vessel, fairly newish. And I said, boys used to sail then as sort of learners, and they usually were cooks. And I couldn't cook, but I was a cook.
How many years were you at the fishing for?
Well, I went to sea when I was 14. I was 64 when I retired. I had to retire because my wife was ill, you know. No, I quite liked to fishing. It was a good occupation, and it's an opportunity to make your own money.
So the model of the thorn tree that I think we've got on display just behind you
Which one?
The thorn tree is just to the left of you.
Yes.
Is that...
She should be 326. Well, when I was in her, she was varnished actually. She was 52 feet, she was built by Weatherhead. And she had an 88 horsepower Kelvin engine, which, when I became acquainted with that, it enabled me to get a full share when I was 16, which was quick. Because you normally didn't get a full share till about 18.
Okay, I'm Tom Donaldson from Port Seton. Tom Donaldson, Secretary President, and then Jean Donaldson, my granny. It was a Superman. I liked this glass of whiskey, but he stayed again with my granny alongside the harbour, and they were forever involved in the father in what they brought up in the net. They sold them from sometimes in the front door of the house. this is one of the boats that I made at the time it was built. I got the drawings from the boatyard at Cockenzie, where they were building this type of modern boat, a stern trawler. This one was 65 feet long and was built for McLean family at Stornoway.
So how did you come to build it? Who asked you to build it?
Well, I just took a fancy to it. I saw one or two of them being built, and because of that, I asked if we could get a set of drawings to make one. And this is the 65-foot one. This was third or fourth in line, about 1970. Well, you start with the keel and the ribs, and the keel, of course, is all the way along here, right to the stern. The main bulk of the stern is a solid timber that goes from around the 4 foot up the stem itself, and then here it was a case of planking onto formed timbers that were shaped specially for meeting the design shape of the boat. The fiberglass forward area, that was also it was a new addition to some of the boats. It was good shelter space for the men working from the depths on, and then from the after end, the different reels of wire that were put through the after gallows out to the net. That particular boat, she had a Kelvin diesel, I think it was, and it was 240 horsepower, a big efficient engine for a boat that size. There was a small electric motor inside, and from that it went out through to the propeller here that turned as it would do in the proper boat, and the engine was up underneath the fuel house, and was driven by long shafts right to the propeller. No, I made it to sail, yes. And we had some attempts at sailing her down at the pool at North Berwick boating pond. We used to take the boats down there and sail them.
Who would come with you?
Oh, friends who were also interested in motor boats, and my father, he was interested in it as well. So he built a model after he retired from the fishing, and it's of his own earlier boat, the Cockenzie Lass, and it was on display in this exhibition a while ago.
I don't know how old it is. Since James Weather's the owner, my grandfather's name was William Weatherhead, and it was built, I don't know how years ago it was built, but all it is, it was always out and show and you know, things like that. But it was just in a shed, just, you know, kept in a shed at the bottom of the garden. Oh, my dad with boats. Even as he got older, my mum never had a fancy house because she used to bring the big live belts and then he would paint all the names on the belt, you know. He done that till he was about 8-year-old. He was still painting live belts for the boats.
LH stands for Leith, LH, but and, it wasn't a name. It was. I mean, some of them called them after their family, but when they built the boat,
that was it. They didn't know what to call it.
They didn't know what to
my
call it.
My gran says, well,
and,
you've only got one girl.
So that was it. But that was built in 1948.
The model was?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was just one block of wood.
Mm-hmm. My father built some of the boats that came from Ireland, but this was me just in that, when the
This
time
was
had
just a hobby.
A hobby, aye.
This was just a hobby that they done away sell at night, you know.
And it was in the house when the men used to come through and used to get the boats. Of course, they wanted this one, but my dad says, no, that's my daughter's.
Because that was the style of the boat.
Aye, that was the style of the boats.
That was the style. Because my whole family was in it. My father, my brother, myself. It was their life.
How far back does the fishing go in your family?
Pardon?
How far back does fishing go in your family?
Oh. No, I've got a photograph. I've got a postcard somewhere in the house of my mother selling my grandfather's fish when she was 60-year-old at the harbour, along there at the harbour. You know where you go down the steps at the harbour? Well, that's where they used to sell the fish when it came in. Now, my grandfather had owned a wee boat called the Bluebell. She was something similar to that up there. And, I mean, they used to just go and they used to shoot the lines. It was all, it was lines then. And the fish that they caught was maybe 2 cod, maybe 4 or 5 flounders, and that's what the thing would on. But that is a typical, what we call a typical herring boat, fish boat. I didn't think there were so many people made models, you know. Absolutely fantastic. Really is.
Can you tell me your name and where you're from?
Name Archie Johnston. I'm from Cockenzie.
Are you from a fishing family, and can you tell me a little bit about that?
I'm from family of fishermen on both sides, both my mother and my father's side. The father's side, they go back 4 or 5 generations, and the mother's side was the same. Mother was a Buchanan from who originally started off in Preston Plants, and the Buchanans moved down to Port Seton when they built the new harbour in 1881. That's when the Buchanans moved down. Both sides were fishing. My father remembers, he was born in 1901, but if you remember one of the times at the Loyster, she was built in 1901 and ready for the sea to cost £90. My father was skipper of the Thistle, and during the war, father was in the boat, and my grandfather was in the boat, and my brother was in the boat, because he left the school at 14. So he joined the boat in 1943, at 14-year-old. So there were actually 3 of them. The 3 of the family was in the boat all together at that time, plus another 2 men. So that was the Thistle. And then the Thistle was a family boat. she was shared by the Simplers. Simplers was, but my grandmother from the Johnston side, she was a Simpler. And when they built the Thistle in 1901, to buy it, it was the Simpler family that put the money in to buy the boat. So my grandmother put the money in, and she got a quarter share of the boat. So the quarter share went to my grandmother and to her brother, James. We went to Whitby in 1953, because we were in the ring, mate. You went out at night, and you come in through the day. But that summer that we were there for 5, 6 weeks, it was poor weather. And for the ring net, you needed good weather for out in the North Sea, which is wide open, and there was no any shelter. You couldn't shelter inside a lock or anything like that. So, for something to do, we went up the sawmill, and we asked the man for blocks of wood this size, and we took them down, and they did ask them, will you saw it for us? Oh, aye. What to do is you go down and draw the shape of your boat, and then you saw it. So that's what we did. We got a block of wood, and then we drew it as if that would be upside down. We drew the shape of the boat that we wanted, and then we took it down the boat, and then we sat in, and then I did. I never finished it. I never ever finished it. It was a good model, but I never finished it. Obviously, I think I met the ladies by then. I had the time. That's my excuse. My excuse. Another interest in life than sitting chatting about a weed. But I do appreciate the way that I've made boats and how they make them. Patience. We bits and pieces that they make and do this and do that. So, it takes patience to make it. So, and I think the wee bits and pieces that need to. You see something in there, we'll use that for something else. When you look at Bob's boat, it's all wee bits and pieces that is picked up from nowhere. Just a bead or something on the end of the throttle and another something else and back. They just have an eye of seeing something, that'll suit, that'll need. And then the letterhead and all that's a really relevant me, like I could take the boat. Did I actually put a name on the letterhead or anything like that?
Did you have a by name, Peter?
Oh, I had a bad by name.
What was yours?
When I was a wee boy, it was called Precious Peter, because I was an only son, and I could get things that other people couldn't get. And one time I had one of these three-wheelers, and the bigger boys used to jump on the back. My mother caught them out the window, tell them to get off of that bike, as fast as you like, and that's where the name comes. It was Dave Stewart. Precious. Precious Peter. That's a picture of the fishwife selling the fish on the pier in Port Seton. Down that stairs that you go down, that proper landing at the foot of the stairs, that's where they used to sell the fish.
Famous corner.
Yeah, no,
Maybe your granny's around there.
where you were. Yeah. She owned a boat called the Sunbeam Free.
She owned the boat.
Aye, well, it was a family. It was a family boat, the Sunbeam Free.
What was her name?
Her name was, I couldn't tell her maiden name.
No, just a minute.
Jessie what you got tried.
Jessie, she was married to Neil.
She got carried. That's what you got to do. And I went to the door for a berth when I was 16, 17. 3 men had left the boat to go to the boatyard. Men that was there from after the war. She says, laddie, they've left today because the fishing's done. They also says if it's done, it's no done for us. What's that, dear?
What's your name and what's your background with the fishing?
Peter Johnston. Been at the sea since 49 to retired in 65. Skippered and owned 3 boats. 3 or 4 boats. Also.
Were you ever out in the ring net?
As a boy, at Whitby.
Can you tell me a wee bit about that? Because there's quite a few examples of ring net boats here too.
Oh, aye. Well, that boat I'm talking about, she was a ring net boat. The Gilly, or the Goodwill. She was one of the smaller ones. But Dad, they went to Whitby. I was there I wasn't in Harley at the time, I was in the bigger boat. The Thorn Tree. She was 52 feet. I was in the boat. I was in the Thorn Tree anyway. 326, that's her number. The blue one. 326. I was cook. I was cooking that boat when I was 16. 16 I was aboard that boat. 6 men fishing for whitefish. And then he went to the ring net at New Haven at the Sprats and Whitby. That was the 2 places, plus the whitefish and the rest of the day.
How would you fish? What was the method? How would you fish?
Sea netting.
Can you describe that?
It's a case of the rope, 3/4 mile long, and then on one side, and then you cross and you make a 1/2 mile, and then you come back up and collect the darn, and then you're looking out the boat, and it's a big V. You start the winch slow, and you gradually make it go faster until the 2 ropes are together. It's the cleanest way to catch whitefish.
So do you miss the fishing?
Oh, I miss it fishing, all right. I know I'm not fit to do it, but it's not that it's not in your body. Oh, I just miss them. When the world jumped in the water with a big bag, missed it. A good haul.
Tell me what that felt like.
Oh, I just felt like a millionaire. One day we went into the harbour. The boats had all good shots. We didn't have a good shot. The old man says to me when I went home, he says, "Where have you been at all?" I said, "Dad, we just did what we normally do." Oh, he says, "It'll take a barry to bring the 4 men's money home today. No mine." So next week we went to where they had been, which was all wrong. In the first 24 hours, we didn't have 20 boxes, which I considered was a waste of time. So we shifted 50 mile overnight, no better the next day. So they says to me, "What you got to do now, Spear?" I says, "I'll tell you in the morning. Take your husbands off, you'll no be back in the morning." And we steamed, 150 mile. In the first haul there, we got 250 boxes. And then we just shifted locally for there, another 40 mile. Come back into the North Shields that trip, 350 boxes of prime. And, that's the kind of things that excites you.
Is that what kept you going?
Oh, I think it's kept you going.
You see what I mean? Yes, you're right.
My name is Thomas Donaldson Thompson. I was born in Fife. My parents both belong to Port Seton, were born here in 1908 and 1906.
And so, do you come from a fishing family? Can you
Oh,
tell me a
yes.
little bit about that?
On both grandfathers' side, there were fishermen and boat owners, mainly herring fishing and inshore fishing. In my garage, there is a half-scale model of a fishing boat. This was given to me, and my father, in his turn, was given when he was a young boy by a fish merchant and boat builder, Hunham, in Port Seton. And I still have that half model from which my father made many boats corresponding with the particular shape, or half shape, if you wish. And that's how I basically got an interest and used the same one for quite some things. That is example. That's example. They are ex-Willie Hunham's boats.
Oh, right, okay, okay. So did your father teach you how to make the models, or was that just by watching him? Can you?
Basically by watching and practice. And gradually you get better, less stupid looking, and eventually enjoy it. But it's a time-consuming thing, but a very rewarding behaviour. You know, it's good fun.
Do you have any of your father's models?
This is one here. He made that in 1952 for a cousin of mine, Tom Donaldson, and sometime later in life, Tom gave it to me because it was the only one connected to my father for a while.
Can you tell me your father's name and when he would have made that model?
His name was William Thompson. He was, as I say, his father was John Thompson, one of my grandfathers, and he in turn owned the Sweet Promise. And this particular vessel was from my other grandfather, Donaldson. So there is a connection which is circular here, and it covers me all round.
And were those boats, I assume those boats are based on real boats that sailed from?
They're based exactly on the half model that my father got from Willie Hunham.
And can you tell me about any of the other models here, for example, the Wisteria?
Well, my father's side, they were in the big herring boats, and they went down to Yarmouth and to Stornoway, and Lerwick, and almost to Norway at times, and chasing the herring. And that's basically why my background is connected to these places, through the boats and through my relatives. Yeah, I have a garage, yes. I can hardly get in it. My wife complains all the time about the stuff I keep, but it all has memories.
And are you building anything at the moment?
Just a small one for a great-grandson who was recently born.
So tell me about what the model looks like.
Well, it's only a small model, but we'll be able to sail in the pond if he ever wishes to do so. But it'll be similar to that, but only about a foot long.
Okay. And would you name and named after him?
Yeah, it's actually called after his great-grandfather on his father's side. And he is that man there, standing there on the right-hand side with the woman. There on the right. And that's Tom Buchanan. And he is great-grandfather to the boy. There's something about carving a piece of block wood that's of great interest in as much that you can move it around, you see the shape coming, you sometimes despair it not becoming, as it should be, but then suddenly it comes, and very interesting game. People say, what are you going to do with them? And quite frankly, it's a problem. And there's much I don't know what to do with them. But you know, they take up a lot of room. But it's the background that makes it a good hobby, because it has a very impressive effect on a person's life in relation to his association with boats and fishing. It's an anchor to hold yourself on, and it's done me a lot of good. I'm quite happy with life.
That's lovely. Thank you. Okay.